Well, we're here. Whilst I don't share everybody's euphoria like what's the final going to be like against New Zealand, we are coming into this quarter-final in a better place than we have ever been. Remember, this is our 5th time in the Rugby World Cup quarter-final, and there've only been 7 World Cups. So this is where we're supposed to be. This is where our seeding puts us. The difference is twofold. One, we have never been here as pool winners, which makes a difference. And we have never come here against a team that we've beaten 7 times in the last 10 attempts. We've always been in a quarter-final against a team that we would expect to lose against, i.e. Australia twice, France twice. Let me give you the history. 87, Australia hockeyed us. 91, the only one where we were competitive, a titanic struggle in Lansdowne Road, beaten in the last minute. 95, destroyed by France in Durban. 99, we didn't qualify. 03, went out very weakly to France. 07, didn't qualify. Well, there's the history of it. Not very good, really, you might think. We're going to go out again the quarter-final. Difference this time is this team's on a roll. Now, what's a roll mean? Well, there's a thing that happens in team sport that when you keep winning, it sounds a cliche that becomes a habit, but it actually does. In your head, you think, this is just another match. We've won all the previous ones, so why can't we win this one? The other thing, had we been playing Australia, New Zealand or South Africa, players would think, we usually lose to these guys. This time they think, we usually win against these guys. So emotionally and psychologically, the team's prepared. All right, that's the emotional bit. That's the draw bit. Now what about the team? Well, we're very strongly placed. We're going to get an even break at scrum or line-out. That means we can play our own game with 50% of the ball. We've got one of the best fly halves in the tournament. The Welsh with Priestland have got a kid to all intents and purposes. We've got O'Gara, over 110 games for Ireland. O'Gara isn't going to be fazed by this. Sure, he's going to have butterflies, but not incapacitating butterflies. The great O'Driscoll in the centre with Darcy, a world record partnership. So we're in a strong place. The scrum half duel is going to be mouth-watering, because Murray and Phillips are alike. Big man, strong runners, aggressive around the side of the set piece and the breakdown. That's going to be great fun to watch them. That's going to be a physical confrontation. How can we lose, though? Well, I think we could lose if Rory Best's shoulder doesn't hold up and he has to leave early. Then I think the Irish line-out could be in trouble because Cronin doesn't throw as well as Best. We could be in trouble if this becomes a very loose game. And remember, the Welsh are going to try and make it loose. The one thing the Welsh are going to do is to make this a helter-skelter match. If it's a helter-skelter match, Warburton, who's a superb number 7, is going to make life very difficult for O'Brien. O'Brien with the ball in his hand is a titan. O'Brien chasing the ball and looking for it on the ground is pretty ordinary and would be beaten to that by Warburton. We haven't really, in this competition so far, Ireland has not been in a real contest at number 7. The one that there was a contest, strangely enough, was way back in the USA game, when the USA captain actually did very well and sent a signal that number 7 remains in World Rugby terribly important. So be looking on the lookout for that. Line-out scrum, that'll be okay. O'Brien and Ferris are going to carry ball like JCT diggers. They're going to be going into people and hitting people and knocking people over. The question is, how long can you do that? Can you do that week after week after week at the very highest level? I'd be looking out for signs of fatigue or injury in the lads. The other thing a lot of people are talking about is Jamie Roberts is going to start running at O'Gara. They've been trying this for over a century of games, and rarely, if ever, does the Cork man let us down. Okay, he's not the greatest defender in the world, but he's brave. O'Gara will put his body there. Unfortunately, although rarely, he's been found wanting by simple physical effort. I don't think it'll matter. I don't think the Welsh are good enough to expose O'Gara. I'm worrying a little because also our back play has been terrible for the last 10 or a dozen internationals. It looked good against Italy, but remember Italy had given up. I mean, if you think back at that Italy match, they had actually given up, particularly when Castrogiovanni went off, and then you saw it. It started concentrating on the man rather than the ball. Their whole focus and concentration went, and we did well against them. Wales, I think, are a different kettle of fish. And there's one last thing. Why we might win. It's those wonderful Irish people. You know, it's extraordinary because many people have read about emigration. They read about emigration to America after the famine. They read about emigration before and after World War II to the United Kingdom. But for many people, they never actually saw a generation leave this country. What this World Cup is showing us is that generation. So many of that generation is in Australia and New Zealand. And they have memories of home. And what this Irish team is doing is bringing to them those memories from home. And that's why they're turning up in their droves. And I, for one, am going to be watching them and wanting Ireland to win, not just for us at home, but for them away, to show that we still stand proud, that we might be a busted flush economically, that we might not be able to give jobs to our young people, but we are still a country that is proud and stands tall. I think if this team is proud and stands tall, we can do it. To be honest, I'm pretty certain we can do it.